I'll tell you a wee story about how the feminists killed feminism. I'm a kind of passionate history buff. I do love modern history. And I often wonder what Emily Pankhurst would have made of third wave feminism. Whether she'd have felt the beaming pride of the cause she sacrificed so much for had reached the echelons of third wave feminism. I think there's a reason why feminism is in decline. Certainly in the United States, it's less than 10% of women classify themselves as feminists. In the UK, it's recently fell to less than 7% of women classify themselves as feminists. Why is this? I think third wave stroke militant feminism, which basically consists on the basis of they want their fucking cake, they want to eat their fucking cake, and they want to get some white man to make them another cake. And it's about this principle of equality, but they want to be more equal than men. And the more that we see things like the gender pay gap being exploded into the myth that it is. I mean, the Office of National Statistics, I believe for 2015, 2016 and into the first 3 quarters of 2017, or the first 2 quarters, the gender pay gap was under 8%. And that 8% is very easy to explain. First and foremost, the vast majority of overtime is performed by men because they tend to have more family flexibility. The second reason, which I think is perfectly valid, is women make different life choices when it comes to careers. And I worked, my 2 backgrounds are very, very different in one respect. One is heavy engineering, from aerospace, shipping, through to train building and vehicle engineering. The other area I've worked predominantly in is IT. 2 areas that don't have the hugest numbers of women involved. One of the reasons for that is heavy engineering it's brute force. It takes substantive strength. And the fact of the matter is, women are not as strong as men in the vast majority of cases. That's a biological fact that's so ingrained in our DNA that it's almost undebatable. Yes, you're always going to get a woman that's stronger than a man, absolutely. But what is this fucking problem of being able to be acceptant that there are some things that women do better? There are some things that men do better. What the fuck is wrong with that? Really? I'm genuinely asking, because I am absolutely, what the fuck? Women on the whole, in the majority, not all, tend to be more closely linked with their emotions, which makes them better nurturers, which makes them better teachers, which makes them far more better at being nursery nurses. And on the point of nursery nurse, I'm married to an ex-nursery nurse. A nursery nurse's starting salary should be £30,000 a year, bare minimum. Why? Because we entrust the most formative and most important years of the most precious possessions we have, and those are our children. Yet we pay them a fucking pittance. That does disgust me. Anyway, we look at celebrity feminists, the likes of Emma Watson, ye olde Hermione of Potter fame. Here is a woman that systematically bangs the feminist drum and consistently says, I don't like being sexualized by men. I don't like being sexualized out of context. Then don't appear in fucking films, you dumbass. If you're going to put yourself in the fucking shop window, what the fuck do you expect? Seriously. But no, you wouldn't give up the trappings of fame and the financial security that provides you with, and the power that it gives you to stand on your soapbox with your man-hating rhetoric, preaching the doctrine of the feminist. Core feminist values I believe in 110%. But what I do believe in is the fact that there are fundamental differences between men and women. There are fundamental differences between the psychology of men and women. There are fundamental differences in our DNA that makes us more suited for different roles. And what most people don't seem to understand is that evolution takes hundreds of thousands of years, if not millions of years, yet we've progressed at a ferocious rate in under 10,000 years. The fact of the matter is, and this is a relatively well-established fact, that we are still hunter-gatherers. We're still hunter-gatherers. We're still at that point in our brain's development. It's one of the reasons that we've seen this absolutely shocking rise in mental health in the last 50 years. Bipolar, personality disorders, anxiety, depression. I think a huge part of it is to do with diet, but I think a huge part of it is to do with the fact that our brains just aren't evolved enough to live in the world and to live at the pace that we live. But that doesn't change the fact that I think that there's nothing wrong with embracing female roles and male roles. And I know the waters get muddied when we get onto the situation of transgender. I'm one of the individuals that believe that transgender is more closely linked to mental health than it is to the actual fact of a woman's brain being in a man's body. And I say this on the basis being that if you look at the absolutely abhorrent, shocking suicide rates of pre and post-operative transgenders is absolutely shocking, and that has got nothing to do with acceptance. You know, please don't try and flatter me with that bullshit argument. There is a problem, and it's a mental health issue. That's not to say that it isn't absolutely and 110% real to those individuals, because I truly believe it is. But do I believe that it is biologically and physically possible to be born in the wrong body? I have yet to see the evidence that proves that. We've seen within the gay and lesbian communities, and a lot of research has been done there, that there is markers that can be scientifically found for people who are gay, whether they're male or female. We haven't yet had the same level of evidence is the wrong word, but the research hasn't been confirmed to the same level. But it's a similar issue. Women have never had it so good. They have it a lot better than men. Look at male suicide rates. Look at the fact that a man is 93% more likely to die when he leaves the house to go to work every single day. We die younger. We're more likely to, I'm fairly sure we're more likely to die of cancer. And that brings me on to an interesting fact about cancer. Breast cancer and prostate cancer, I believe, have almost identical detection rates. Yet the difference in funding that goes into breast cancer and prostate cancer is 1 in 7. So for every £1 that goes into prostate cancer, £7 goes into breast cancer. It may well be cervical cancer, so don't quote me on this, but either way, it shows a shocking disparity that's fucking sexist. The other thing about feminism that's getting on my fucking tits right now is how quiet they are being over the systematic and national grooming and gang raping of school children. A subject that the feminists should be on their goddamn soapbox screaming at the top of their fucking lungs, for shit's sake. An actual subject where women are being exploited, and you shut the fuck up and you keep your mouths well and truly closed. It's a fucking joke. And that, to me, that in its very essence in the UK right now undermines completely any aspect of the feminist argument. You want equal pay. Now, you want more fucking pay than men. You want equality at its absolute purest sense, that you're more equal than anybody else. Because if there was a true basis to feminism in the UK, the one thing that true feminists would be screaming about is the way that the press, the public, the police, social services and the local authorities are dealing with the grooming gangs, which are predominantly from Pakistani and Bangladeshi Muslim backgrounds. See, I'm not afraid to say that because it's a fucking fact. You know, a fact that's quantifiable in a set parameter. Anyway, my rant about feminism's over. The basis being, if we want to be equal, we should be. Everybody should have the equal opportunity to jobs, pay, whatever it is. And in the vast majority of cases, they do. But I don't believe women deserve to be more equal than predominantly their target, which is white men. Thanks for watching, guys.